What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about the GoodWill bins, my strategy, what I like to do, how I approach the bins, and basically I'm going to talk about how long I stay, what I try to source for, what I try to look out for, just some simple tips for you guys. If you don't know these tips already, they will definitely help you. So tip number one is definitely get there as soon as possible. Where I go to, like, the carts get sold out really fast. So if they're sold out, I have to use like the IKEA bag. And it kind of hurts my back because I try to get like 20 plus items per day. And so try to have a game plan, try to have a goal. When you go in, you don't want to overspend, especially in the beginning. It's one of the worst things that you can do is spend yourself out of business. A lot of people do it. I've been there many times where I just get way too much and I either have a huge death pile or it's just really low sell-through rate items that take forever to get sold, and then I have to eventually mark them down to like $5. Like a lot of my older bins, like inventory, they're like marked way down right now to like $5-6. So there's a little tip for you guys. If you have a lot of inventory that you just want to get rid of, I'd say around the $5 to $8 mark is with like $5.95 shipping or $6.80 shipping. That's kind of like the sweet spot to move like just super basic things that you would find at the bins. And if you want to like get some fast money and move a lot of your older stuff, that's kind of the price range that I do. And so as of right now, I'm not really looking to get any type of like mid-tier or low-tier items. And obviously, like, that would be considered anything that's not like 100% sell-through rate within 90 days. So if something is like, so if there's 500 listed and then 500 sold in 90 days, it has 100% sell-through rate. If it has more sold than what's listed, it has over 100% sell-through rate, which is really what you want to look for, because those types of items can be sold within a couple days. And I have items that definitely sell within like the first to 3 days. So when I go to the bins, I try to get there as early as possible. I try to get a cart, and immediately I will go over to like the hard goods where all the shoes are, and I will just get hats. Where my bins are, there's a lot of hats, like sports hats and like surfing hats and things like that. So I try to just get like 10 to 30 hats per day, because on the side of my clothing business, I try to list at least 10 hats per day. And a lot of the times those hats will cover like the total cost of like, so for instance, if it's like $50 per day and I get 10 hats, that'll definitely be like, because with my hats, I get around $8 to $12 profit per hat. So if I get 10 to 20, it's like $200. Best case scenario, let's just say like $100. I'm pretty much covering everything that I get at the bins. So I like getting hats. They're really light. They cost like 50 cents for me. And so if I'm getting like 30, it's really just, it's nothing. They're really light. So when I go to the bins, obviously whenever they come out with like a new thing, I don't like wait, because there's people like vintage people that just wait in line and they just wait around for the bins to come out. I don't do that. I'll kind of just scavenge and kind of just like go through everything, and because there's a lot of like, when you expand your Rolodex and you do research every day and you try to study what are the best brands, what are the newer brands, when you do that research, when you front load the research, it's extremely helpful, because you will see these brands like you'll just look at the tag, even though you may not really know the brand fully. If you just go through the bins and go through all the clothes and you read a tag, it'll pop up in your head and you're like, oh shit, like I remember that this was a high sell-through rate item. And so what you want to do is go, you never want to just wait in line, because that's just wasted time, unless like you're really into vintage. But I don't really understand how that all works, because they kind of just like, it seems like they don't really look hard. It's interesting. But so I'll just like, when the bins are coming out, I'll obviously just like keep walking around trying to find, some of the high sell-through rate items. And then you want to get in there as soon as possible. So when they bring those bins out, it's very hectic. It's like, it's kind of crazy, but you want to get in there as soon as possible, because you're going to find a lot of good stuff. Like today, like it wasn't too good. And then when they brought those bins out, like there's just so much stuff in there. So you want to get in there as soon as possible and you want to stay at those bins until it's like fully picked through and like you've kind of looked through everything. And you really want to look out for I talk about low tier items. There definitely are high tier, like high sell-through rate items in all brands. So like when I said like Calvin Klein shirts and stuff, for the most part they're crap. But if they have a lot of like factor stacking things, like let's say it's linen or pearl snap, you want to find those things that are higher in demand, like cashmere and merino wool and like just higher fabrics. So there are pretty much all brands will have super high in demand fabrics, like cashmere. You can find cashmere in like, even like Kirkland has cashmere that I could probably sell for like $20. So you always want to be on the lookout for cashmere. And once you like feel what cashmere feels like, it's very easy to see, and it's very easy to like feel. So always be on the lookout for cashmere, but always look through it and make sure there's no holes. If I find something that's like super valuable but it has holes, I usually just give it up. So you want to make sure the merino wools and any type of wool or Italian yarn, cashmere, you want to make sure it has no holes whatsoever, because that stuff really won't sell. And you may get a return because they may have looked it over in the listing. So you always want to have the fabrics in the back of your head. You always want to have jerseys in the back of your mind. If you see numbers, you obviously want to make sure it's real. It's pretty easy to tell if it's real or not. If the stitching is really poorly done and it's undone and it's just bad, it's most likely a fake jersey. If like the stitching's really tight and it looks really like the jersey looks like it was put together very well, it's most likely real. And so I always look for like any type of sport jerseys. There's a lot of like Dodger baseball jerseys where I'm at, like by Majestic, Reebok, Nike. You want to look for those jerseys. So I always have that in the back of my mind. I also have silk and linen in Hawaiian shorts and shirts in the back of my mind, especially with the summer. You always want to have an eye on the Hawaiian shirts, an eye on anything linen. All year round linen will do well, so figure out what linen looks like and feels like. Very in-demand item, pretty much for any brand. So anytime I find linen, I'll most likely pick it up. Anything that's like silk, I'll most likely pick it up, because those things are also really light, so they don't cost that much, and they're higher sell-through rate. So what else do I look for? And then obviously like another thing is pearl snaps. I really like selling pearl snaps a lot. Like Wrangler does well for me. Salt Valley does really good. True Religion does really good. So try to find pearl snaps and look up the sell-through rate, make sure it's good. But for the most part, I pick up anything Wrangler if it's an adult size. I pick up anything Salt Valley that is adult size. And those are some of my two favorite brands. And then obviously True Religion, anything adult size. Pearl Snap, I'll pick up. So those are kind of the things that you want to look for. And then you kind of want to look at the piles where people discard. Like if you're coming really late to the bins and you see like a huge pile like stacked really high, most likely that is a discard pile where people just kind of throw everything away, things that they didn't necessarily want. Some people have crazy Rolodexes, so like Lululemon for them isn't really important, but I think I would still pick up Lululemon, like for sure. So look through like the discard piles, and you'll know them because like you'll just see people tossing items there, or they will you'll just see like a huge pile stacked up. And I'm sorry for how shaky this video is. I do apologize for that. But yeah, that's kind of like my thought process when it comes to the bins. I know I've missed out on a lot. I will come out with more videos regarding the bins and my strategy. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely subscribe. We're gonna have way more videos coming out. I'm doing videos every single day. So we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, and we'll see you very soon. Peace.